Hey everybody, what's up? Back for an album review. This time I'm going to take a look at the new album from Ulver called The Assassination of Julius Caesar. And Ulver is a pretty enigmatic and cult iconic type of band that's changed its style continuously along its the course of its existence, starting from the beginning days of being in the black metal scene in the early 90s till now. Far more electronic, ambient, avant-garde, and the mastermind behind it is Mr. Christopher Rigg, also known as Garm, for those of you who are familiar with his work with bands like Arcturus or Borknagar. Also, or Trickster G, I think, is another pseudonym he goes by for more of the electronic, electronic dance music, synth, pop, dark wave, new wave type stuff. So yeah, he's got different pseudonyms he goes by. But yeah, the guy's been doing this for quite a while. This is, I think, as far as with Ulver, as their 25th release. I'm not sure if official or unofficially, but yeah, it's quite a long history, and yeah, I really like Mr. Rigg's work. I like his vocals and all the myriad of different bands that he's been a part of. He's instantly recognizable when you hear his voice. And I really like how he is not afraid of completely changing things up, of experimenting, of not being afraid of, especially in a coming up in a scene like the Norwegian black metal scene. I mean, there was a real kind of rigid mindset about do's and do nots as far as the music goes, and it was kind of a rather narrow-minded approach to, I guess you would say, the music, which in one way is good because it preserves a certain style, but then again, it doesn't invite any kind of change or anything along those lines. So which is probably why he branched out and did stuff with Borknagar and Arcturus, since those bands both had a kind of a slightly black metal feel to it, and for the guitars and stuff, but they added a lot of more avant-garde or progressive elements. So yeah, the guy, I mean, he's done a lot of different stuff, and stuff more recently seems to be more in the electronic, dark wave, new wave type style, which is what this album is pretty much in a nutshell. It's it's new wave, dark wave, ambient, and synth pop, and like EDM, electronic dance music type stuff. And it's great. I mean, I'm glad that I can find things that can give me some variety and a change of pace, given how much I listen to the heavier, faster stuff. And this is just like a total kind of escape from that. And a very enjoyable one. So yeah, I really like this album. I mean, some of the songs are most of it, like I said, it fits in the new wave, dark wave type category as far as the music goes, but the vocals are what are pretty standard. I wouldn't say, not in a, they're not, they're, you've got like a kind of a traditional, more vocalist type approach matched up with the new wave and dark wave type atmosphere with the electronic and the synth kind of beat behind a lot of it. And I think the first track that I heard off of the album, I think it was, I don't know, it might have been 1969. I think it was one of them, but that might have been, it was one of the ones that actually has female vocals accompanying, and it was like it was like a blast out of the 80s. Like, it was like just pure new wave type sound to it. It was just like it hit that style to a T, but the vocals are so great. his vocals and then the accompanying female vocals are matched very well. So it's like, you know, it just captures that, because I'm a child of the 80s, and I was born in 81. So I mean, I remember growing up, and in my, you know, early elementary school days, up until, you know, to the end of elementary school towards the 90s. I mean, I listened to the radio all the time. The radio was always on. You know, so this was before I had kind of found which styles of music I really liked the most. So I was open to listening to just pretty much anything. And so you had like tons of the electronic, synth pop, new wave type stuff going on in the 80s. And it was just kind of like a nostalgia trip in a way, just kind of listening to that style. And it reminded me of why I like that when it's done right, you know, how great that style of music can be, you know, and how the elements that were introduced into the 80s, into the realm of pop music and stuff with, you know, with the keyboard and, you know, synthesizers and all of that stuff, how that really kind of just opened up a whole new realm of possibilities in popular music. And then obviously would go on to influence, you know, small different niche genres of music that would take that kind of that concept and then take it into a different direction. You know, like I said, like with dark wave, you take the new wave type kind of core, and then you turn it more of a sinister, ominous, you know, kind of melancholic or whatever you want to call it type of place. And so yeah, that was something that I noticed right away, that it had definitely had that 80s kind of influence on a lot of the tracks that were leaning more towards that style. But yeah, I mean, there's no real surprises, or I say it's not like a super experimental, all over the place type of album. It's just focused more on that type of style that I mentioned earlier, and that just you know, does everything really well. The arrangements are done well. It's just a song you can put back on, you know, put on and just chill out and, you know, and listen to and kind of relax. You know, great for, you know, if you're doing stuff like you're, you know, writing or whatever, and you want to have it on to listen to it, you know, kind of relax and, you know, kind of get you in that kind of more, you know, kind of chilled out state of mind, I guess. This is a great album for that. Like I said, it's great, the great arrangements, and Garm's, you know, unmistakable vocals, and his vocal abilities are, you know, on display here. So there's not all that much to talk about as far as the album goes. I didn't really want to delve into the lyrics, and because like I don't know if there's any common theme amongst them. You know, it's some of the lyrics for, you know, from guys like Christopher. You know, they can kind of fall into more of the I guess you call them more cryptic, or kind of, you know, multi-layered, or, you know, or whatever, where it's, you know, there's, you know, you just can't really always take things exactly at face value, and there may be something more to them that's beneath the surface. It takes a while to kind of dig into and look at. So I won't mention like any like specific like subject matter, because I'll just, you know, kind of stick with the just the music aspect. But I mean, it's not like anything jumped out as being kind of weird or whatnot. It's just, like I said, the lyrics out in the song titles I'd have to look into to see, you know, the significance of them. But yeah, if you're a fan of, like I said, if you're a fan of new wave, if you're a fan of dark wave that is, you know, not super guitar heavy like some bands do, or like, you know, kind of like an ambient kind of mixture, and you like, and you're you know, want clean vocals, you know, from, you know, from someone that's a very gifted vocalist, and does, you know, sings, you know, amazingly, and I've been a fan of his for a long time, ever since I first heard him with Arcturus, and does have on a few tracks, does have a female accompanying vocalist there. So if you like that, I mean, it's like I said, it's going to be much more accessible than some of the albums that I have been reviewing prior to this. But yeah, it's worth it if that's the style of music you enjoy. You'll get many a listen out of this album. like I said, I'll probably just, when I'm, if I'm writing or if I'm playing, I'm gaming or whatever, I'll probably just put it on and just have it playing, as I'm doing my stuff. And yeah, it's very enjoyable. So yeah, I recommend it if you want high quality or new wave, dark wave-ish type music. Then this will be right down your alley. And I haven't spent a lot of time in investigating and delving into Ulver's overall catalog. I've listened to songs and bits and pieces of some more of the newer stuff, so I'm gonna have to go back through and revisit their catalog, because they're one of the more eclectic, kind of enigmatic Norwegian or Scandinavian bands that I should have given that I've vested a lot of time and interest in other of the kind of the eclectic Scandinavian bands. This one I should have more familiar or a greater familiarity with as far as their discography goes, but I'll have to go back in and, like I said, and look at some more of their stuff. But yeah, so definitely 2 thumbs up for this. If, like I said, if this is your cup of tea, if that's the style of music you like, or if you just want to try something new, if you want to get into the something, want to get into, like more electronic music that's, has that kind of 80s synth, new wave feel, plus, some added layers and a little more sophistication to it, then, yeah, you could do worse than grabbing the copy of this album and checking it out. I definitely recommend it. All right, folks, I'll probably be back with a review soon. It'll probably be a heavy metal band, but, if I find more music like this, or stuff that isn't falls firmly into the heavy metal camp, I'll make sure to get up there too, so I can present a variety of styles and for people to check out. So until then, friends, take it easy, and I hope you enjoy the album.